What's up, everybody? Man, listen, it's Fred, FanView, Real Fans Talk Sports, coming at y'all this morning, man. Listen, read a report coming from my Saints organization that, they're trying to make Mike Thomas one of the highest paid receivers in the NFL. And if as a fan, it's very critical for me to talk about the Saints organization in any critical manner, because as a fan, they're my favorite team in sports, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, any pro sports, the Saints are my team. And it's hard to be critical of a player who's been, or even criticize a player on this team because, again, I'm that kind of fan. But we're talking about Mike Thomas here. And let's just clear the air. Man, this guy needs a new contract. This guy has been extremely productive for the first 3 years of his NFL career, has led the NFL amongst all receivers in history in the most catches in the first 3 seasons of any receiver's career. On and off the field, has not been a distraction, went about his business the right way. Any organization looking for the type of receiver that Mike Thomas is, he's been a constant pro as far as not being a distraction to his team, being a leader in the locker room, being active in the New Orleans community, being a very prominent face of what he want people to look like or people to be. This is the kind of guy you want in your organization representing you. And that's Mike Thomas. You couldn't ask for a better professional as a wide receiver. Kind of like how the Cardinals have in Larry Fitzgerald. You couldn't really ask for a better wide receiver, to represent you in your organization. But I got to be critical. Mike Thomas just isn't a $20 million receiver. I'm sorry. And here's the truth. If you're going by what he's done professionally, how he goes about his business, I think he's one of the hardest working wide receivers in the game. But if you're just looking at the game of football, he's not a $20 million receiver. I've watched a $20 million receiver is the guy who does the most, makes the most plays with the least amount of catches. I remember watching Randy Moss coming into the Minnesota Vikings. I seen Randy Moss make a plays. Like I seen him I had games where he would have 3 catches and 3 touchdowns and 150 yards. That's impact. I mean, I've seen Terrell Owens just take over games. Like this guy would just have like 8 catches, God knows 200 yards and nearly 3 touchdowns. Takes over games. I've seen Calvin Johnson almost had a 2,000-yard receiving season. Straight impact. That's a $20 million receiver. Mike Thomas, as productive as he is catching the football, does not make any plays outside of the Saints, Sean Payton, Drew Brees system. When you scouted for the Minnesota Vikings when Randy Moss was there was a system in place, and then there was Randy Moss. Because there's a guy who can make plays beyond the system that's being run with Cole Pepper and everyone else they had on that team. When you watch the Detroit Lions where Calvin Johnson was there, and Matthew Stafford when he was there with the organization, there's the Lions offense, and then there's Calvin Johnson, who's going to make plays beyond the system. When you watched Terrell Owens, everywhere he went, there was the offense in San Francisco with Jeff Garcia, and then there was Terrell Owens. When you watch the New York Giants, when Odell was there, there's the system that's in place with Eli Manning. Then there was Odell Beckham. Why? Because Odell Beckham is going to make plays beyond the system. Mike Thomas only has 1 play as a receiver that's beyond 50 yards. That was a play against Marcus Peters in the Rams game regular season. That's his only play that is beyond 50 yards. Mike Thomas don't make plays in football that's not beyond the system. I'm sorry. He just doesn't. So when I'm thinking about, man, and I see a $20 million receiver, I'm watching, I'm saying to myself, that guy has to make plays beyond the system. He has to be Randy Moss-like. He has to be Calvin Johnson-like. Larry Fitzgerald for the Arizona Cardinals, when he was in the late in the 2010 or 2009 2008 season I probably consider a $20 million receiver. There was the Arizona Cardinals offense, and then there was Larry Fitzgerald, who's going to make plays in and out the system. That's not Mike Thomas. Tyreek Hill makes plays. Julio Jones makes plays within the system and without the system. Mike Thomas don't make those plays. And I know a lot of fans are thinking, man, he led the NFL in receptions. He's sixth in overall yards. I'm here to tell you, for the amount of catches he has, for the lead the league in catches, his yards after the catch, his yards per catch is 11.2. That's not a high number. Mike Thomas is at the bottom of receivers, yards per catch, for any receiver who has over 80 yards in the NFL. Everybody has more yards per catch than him. Everybody. If you got 80 catches or more, you have more yards per catch than Mike Thomas. He's extremely productive, but he's not making plays outside the system that's called. That's just the facts. Mike Evans, among any receiver who has 80 catches or more, has the most yards per catch, with 17.7. Following him is Tyreek Hill. But any receiver has more than 80 catches. And Tyreek Hill has more touchdowns and 40 less catches than Mike Thomas. I know a lot of y'all thinking Tyreek Hill is not better than Mike Thomas. As far as impact plays, as far as getting in the end zone, as far as making plays with less catches, he is better. He's way better. He has more 50-yard plays than Mike Thomas ever dreamed of. He has more 40-yard plus plays than Mike Thomas. He has more 20-yard plus plays than Mike Thomas. He has more yards after the catch than Mike Thomas. When I watch a $20 million receiver, he has to make plays outside the system. Mike Thomas does not do that. If Drew Brees right now was 30 years old, you would say to yourself right now as a Saints fan, because it's hard for me to be critical of them. As a Saints fan, if Drew Brees was 30 years old right now, there's no way in hell you'll pay Mike Thomas $20 million. You'll say to yourself, you know what? It's the system itself. Let's go get another receiver, and let's go get somebody that's extremely productive like Mike Thomas. You'll be looking to replace Mike Thomas because it's the system that's making the plays. I'm here to tell you right now as a Saints fan who watches the Saints, it's still the system. He's really good at it. He's extremely productive at it. He's a guy that's not going to be a distraction for the team and the organization. He's just not making $20 million receiver plays. He's not making... When I watch Mike Thomas, for $20 million, what I say to myself as a fan, he's got to make plays for his position that no other receiver in the NFL can make. Every play I watch Mike Thomas make, I say to myself, Jarvis Landry can make that play. Like, he's not making any play. There's a play I've watched Mike Thomas make at wide receiver at the pro level. His 3 years in the NFL. That I say to myself that DeAndre Hopkins can't make. Jarvis Landry can't make. Keenan Allen can make all Mike Thomas' plays. He's just not in the system that's benefiting him than it was benefiting Mike Thomas. So you're talking about paying the guy $20 million. You got to start asking yourself, is there plays that he's making that no other receiver can make? There's plays I watch Antonio Brown make, I say only Antonio Brown can make. There's plays that Tyreek Hill is making, I say to myself, that Tyreek Hill can only make that play. He's the only guy in the NFL that made that play. I've seen plays that Odell Beckham make, and I say, he's the only guy in the NFL that makes that play. No other guy makes that play. There's plays in the NFL where I say, man, only Julio Jones can make that play. Or DeAndre Hopkins can make that play. There ain't a play I watch Mike Thomas make. And I say to myself, man, only Mike Thomas makes that play. They ain't one. I think every play he's made, I think Keenan Allen or Jarvis Landry can make that play. So, $20 million? No. He's not spectacular. He's not dominating the game, impactful in that regard. Extremely productive, man. Goes about his business the right way. He's the right guy you want to have in your organization. He's the right guy you want to have leading your team on Sundays. He's extremely productive on third downs. He's extremely productive within the first 10 to 15 yards because that's what he averages. You can't take that from the guy. He's just not making plays that. Every play that he makes, every other receiver in the NFL that's very good makes that play too. He's just in a better system.